and a half minutes, dropped from 67.95 all the way down to 67.42. See if they want to bounce back up a little bit, but big market move right there. And again, this is about 3 minutes into this. I'm looking around for news headlines. Anybody seeing anything? Let's see. Yeah, nothing. Nothing coming up right now. There's something out there. I just don't have it. 4 minutes in, and the S&P futures down to 67.34.50. Tom, I don't know if you're watching this. This is a
Yeah, I'm
big
watching.
market
I was
move.
talking to Bill Sample on the phone, and this thing fell out of bed.
Yeah, I was going through the news headlines saying, "Hey, there's not much going on in the market," and I turned around and looked at the market and was like, "Oops, okay, something's going on." So we're gonna research that. In the meantime, it's about time to hit the music. Jonathan, you got that queued up and ready to go?
Something's going on. Let's figure out what's going on. I don't know. Oh man.
Yeah, we'll take a little bit of time to do some research while we got some music playing.
In the early light, before the rooster crows, T-bus sits where the ticker flows. A coffee cup, a steady hand. He trades the market like a riverboat man. Oh, T-bus, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-bus, he did it his way. He watches the charts like the stars in the sky, looking for answers, a reason why. Some call it luck, some call it skill, but Tom just calls it paying the bills. Through the red and the green, he's danced with a line. Every loss and each win, a tale of his time. Oh, T-bus, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-bus, he did it his way. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-bus stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-bus stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-bus stands tall at the end of the day. Not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold.
All right. I think, Jonathan, we need to cut that mic on the music. Okay.
All right, a couple things. We dropped below the monthly open. So we got to let this market, obviously it's a fast market out there. You got bonds going up. I wonder if there's a world event going on. Let me go over to Bloomberg and see if I see anything. Bloomberg.
Yeah.
It's probably Trump's post on Truth Social about 7 minutes ago. Bring up my Truth Social app. Says some very strange things happening in China. They are becoming very hostile. And Tom, I think you have the Truth Social app. You might bring that up and look at Donald's or President Trump's posting a moment ago.
So it was posted 7 minutes ago. That might be part of it.
I'm seeing something on Bloomberg that says Trump threatens massive increase of tariffs on Chinese goods. Okay.
There it
I don't
is.
know. I don't know because it's bouncing back right now a little bit. Let's just see what this is about. You got gold going up, 14.18.
Yeah, S&P at 67.31.
What was the low, Chuck? What was the low?
Looking through, it looks like they made it down to about 16.
67.16. So you're up 14 points off the low.
Yeah.
You
And
got
back above the open of the month at 25.50.
25.50. What are you talking about? 67.
Yeah, 67.25.50 was the open of the month. So
Yeah.
we're back
Oh,
above
you
that.
said put 50 cents on there. You threw me. All right. 67.38.
Yeah, I think if you get back above the 47.48 area, remember 47.25 was the low of the week coming into today. If you get back above that level, we should see a bit of a market recovery.
Say that again, Chuck. I didn't hear you.
So 67.47 was the low of the week before this move. I think if we get back above there, we're going to be in recovery. We're going to be in total recovery mode. It's not often you have big breaking news and moving markets as we run into trading trade. So a little bit of a different start to this presentation.
This is one of those cases, you don't want to buy it because it's cheap, okay? Keep your hand off the buy button anyway, because you got bonds popping up. Let me tell you what the bonds right now popped up to 117.27, which is almost near the highs, okay? If you look at the VX right now, which is the fear gauge, the VX popped up 5%. Is at 1865. So that's not good. What you want to do during this phase is check anything that can really hurt you and protect yourself. But that kind of drop is caused by a couple things. There's some serious news out there that we got to evaluate and let everybody digest because that caught everyone by surprise. Everyone by surprise.
Yeah, and someone mentioned air pocket. I think Mike mentioned that, kind of an air pocket. A lot
That's
of times
what I call it, Chuck.
Yeah, when you get the market moving, if there hasn't been that consistent support built up, it can move in an exaggerated manner.
NVIDIA was breaking out. It's now back to 192. Yeah. Okay, what you do, here's what you do. You look at the fear markets. Gold's a fear market. and gold is popping today. Gold's at 40.27, 28. Gold is. You look at the market here; it's going lower, obviously. Check something else here.
Yeah, GLD popped up to a new high at 396.23.
Hold on.
So echoing
Hold on.
gold.
Okay. No, it was been a long time since it got hit like that.
Yeah, bonds opened today 116.23. They made it up to 118 on this move. That's
Yeah, I know. That's
big
what I'm
move.
telling you. When bonds move that much, VIX moves that much, and the market's in a fast market like that. But it's really interesting. It's sort of hovering around the opening of the month. Okay.
Hmm. That's it. First bounce went to 41.50. The second bounce already moving past that level.
These whole numbers, Chuck. What market are you talking about? Always
Talking about the S&P futures here. They just made it up to 67.48. We're trying to get back into the range that we had before this move began. Not able to make it that time, back down to 67.40.
Well, I've got an alert at Tom's pivot 67.80 and at the low 67.16. Midpoint of the range this morning looks like the low from yesterday or so, which was 67.60. Yeah, that's pretty much right where it is. 67.61, call it 60.
Yeah, an article out at Yahoo Finance. China is firing back in the U.S. trade war with retaliatory fees on U.S. shipping, or U.S. ships calling its ports. And I suppose that's what Trump was responding to on True Social.
Okay, let's check this out. Let's do this, folks. Why don't we do this? Let's take a 10-minute break. Put a 10-minute break up here, Chuck, and let's come back in 10 minutes. Everybody go, and then we'll come back and see what everybody finds. Let's do this. Let's take a 10-minute break, Chuck.
All right, Jonathan, you got that time?
You
Or
know,
you want me to...
put a thing up 10 minutes and we'll come back.
There we go. Thank you, sir. Yeah, sorry about that, Neil. I just realized I had muted my mic while I was doing things around the house. So the low of the month is 66.80, and that's probably going to be the next big number to be challenged.
All right, I've
Well,
got it now, Chuck. That's why I needed that 10 minutes. I want to go research it myself.
yeah,
Here's the problem, and I'll define it for everybody. China has struck out not only against the U.S. but against really the world on rare earth minerals, and they've sent letters out, almost like they're going to hold the world hostage. The response, I read Scott Bessett's response. They're evaluating right now what they're going to do, and that's why the market uncertainty is taking it lower. The best thing to do in a situation like that is if you got something that's high risk, obviously you want to be in cash. If you don't have things in high risk, you can go with the SQQQ, buy some SQQQ if you want to do that, I think. But I'm going to wait personally. I think the damage has been done to me personally because I had a position that was I had to take care of. But the bottom line is the market is in an uncertain stage. Okay. And market will bounce after Bessett's on it. And I agree with you. I think the market will pop. He made the statement, Bessett made the statement after 3,000 years of Mideast peace, maybe this is not coincidental. China doesn't want that to end over there. And that was the inference from what I read. But I think that when I look at it, I'm thinking, okay, where's the opportunity? The opportunity is after the dust settles, not now. And the reason I say that, this is a fast market, and you've got a lot of panic in the market. You can tell that by looking at the VIX, the symbol /VX. It's up 10% now. Fear is rising, okay? And you sit tight. The best strategy is just to sit tight and wait. I know it's sort of hard. You're looking at this, it's all over, and you got a mouse, you got money, and all that. The best thing to do, in my opinion, is to sit tight and let's just see where this thing goes. This is a huge opportunity for guys like us because we'll figure it out. You know, when you have something like that. Generally speaking, the good news is we got Scott Bessent as Treasury Secretary, and my guess is they're having a meeting right now to discuss what the reaction is going to be. And the world's looking for that reaction. We don't see the reaction yet, but I think you're gonna get it. But that, just to put this in perspective, S&P dropped from 6,800 down below 6,694. So that's a pretty good drop like that. Now you could, if you wanted to, I think the best thing to do, I went and looked and checked all my accounts. I'm pretty much in cash, but I'm telling you, the best thing to do on a stage like this is just be patient and wait, okay? And like if VIX does go over above 20, that throws it into another leg. The S&P is at 66.91, and so it's just liquidation going on right now. And patience will pay it like it always does. And you just sit here and look at things and opportunities. I think the interesting part was NVIDIA was getting ready to go big time. Super organ got above that 195, was getting ready to go. A couple more ticks had been gone. But gold is, money's flowing into gold. It's up about since the last time we talked. It's at 40.32. Silver is at 48, and we just made a new low in SPX, 66.40 on the cash. So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, I think it's dropped 20 points since I started talking. Now this is going to be a real test of Genesis, isn't it? Look at the time of day, 11:30. This is a real test. Chuck, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Tom. I was just thinking.
Yeah,
Very
do
interesting.
one thing, Chuck. Go to, I don't know if your numbers ladder on the rundown's got it. Go there and let's look at that real quick. Hey, Roger.
The numbers on the rundown, or
Yeah, you know, your ladder, your numbers ladder on the right. How far did you go down with those numbers? S&P mini, maybe it's on the planner.
yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I need to
Go through that, cover that, and see, did you run out of numbers to the downside?
Well, I think you're talking about the market daily rundown, and yeah, we ran off the daily. I want to take a look at some of the weekly numbers, and Jonathan's controlling the projection. So
Oh, he'll
these
do
are the
it.
numbers. This is from the market daily rundown, and you'll notice the open of the month down there. We had 66.24, which is a big number. So we're through the numbers on the weekly side based on the average range and where the market opened the week. There's still more ground to the lower end, but the big deal here is we just got below the low of the month. But I think you're right. The timing here, European cash flows just occurred, and so we'll see the Genesis adapt to this and give us something going forward.
Yeah, but what is your numbers, or are you out of numbers to the downside? That's my question. I can't see.
Well, we've got a 66.24 in there.
You got a 66.24.
Right.
And anything above that? What do you got above 66.24?
67.25.50, the open of the
Oh,
month.
you got a big gap there.
Yeah.
All right, so
And-
here's the off the cuff, it'd be 66.45 and 66.24. That'd be your two numbers. Chuck, why don't you work on that and I'll go through train and trade with everybody. Work on some numbers to come back and give us the numbers. You know, a numbers ladder for the S&P. That'd be very helpful to me and everybody else if you'll work on that for us, okay? Yes, you got it?
Yeah, no, already working on it, and I work kind of quick.
Well, let me know when you got it and I'll let you interrupt me because I want those numbers. Oh, you got it right there. You got 40, you got it down to 66.18. So boy, you do work quick. You pulled up your old sheet, didn't you? Chuck's been doing this for years for me, folks, in these kind of situations. Write those numbers down. The 67.30, 67.08. Isn't it great to have a guy like Chuck around to do that?
Right, and that's coming off the weekly planner, which if you've got Roadmap software up, just go to the links menu. You can click on weekly planner. Those numbers are right off of that sheet. This is where it helps to be prepared.
We've been prepared for all these years. Here it is, 66.18. Okay, so now we got a frame, okay? And now we got Genesis coming. You're going to see the value of what we teach in a second because you got 66.18 as your bottom number. You got 66.40 as support, 66.62. So now we're sort of in between 66.62 and 66.84. 66.80 was the low of the month, right, Chuck? If I heard you correctly.
It was, yes.
Okay. Those are E-mini futures number, Fern. This is telling about this sheet, how they can get it as a roadmap subscriber. Don't they have that sheet inside links or something?
Yeah, if you've got the roadmap software, and Jonathan, if we can just go ahead and show that links menu, there's a whole bunch of documents here. You've got the daily, which is the morning rundown that Tom mentioned earlier. Jonathan already showed you the pre-market planner. Well, he's going to show us all these things. So he showed us the pre-market planner, which is also in there, and then the weekly planner as well. And what else have we got in there? I'm jumping a little bit ahead of him, but there are a lot of tools that we link up. You know, Tom, at the end of this month, we're going to be talking about the FOMC, and there's a link to the CME FedWatch tool. There's a link to limits. There's a whole bunch of links that are available through the roadmap software. I would highly recommend you have this software, not only for the capabilities that it provides, but also for the links you can go to find out more information about the market when you need it.
All right. So one of the things that we want to talk about, I think, very, very soundly is that when you think about all this stuff, it's pretty interesting to me because what are the things that could happen that would make the market stabilize and go further? You got to hear the plan, right? And then the market will take that and evaluate it. But what it's going to evaluate is the fact that where are we in relation to where we opened the month of October, 67.25. You ought to write that number down. That's the big number, 67.25, because that sets the tone. And so here's some things that could happen that would be positive, let's say, okay? Let's say we go through a retaliatory stage, then the market gets worse because that creates more uncertainty to go through a stage of retaliation, right? And then the market will evaluate that. However, my guess is, I'm just saying this, who stands to lose the most? It goes back to the situation. And the situation is, in the short term, I think a good way of saying it would be if we turn on China and tighten it, it could bankrupt their whole country, and that really creates some turmoil. Okay, so and everybody knows that we really have the cards, and if we turn those cards on, it's not going to be pretty. I don't think we'll go there. That's like 5 stages of DEFCON 1 through 5. I don't think we'll go there, but I do think that this won't go unnoticed. Let's put it that way. Okay, that's what I think. Okay, so you've had a market that it's really shaky at best. And I always do this. Let me tell you what I always do when I get hit with one of these. I've been hit with one of these many times over my career. I eliminate ways of losing money. That's risk in the market. And because I can always get back in. And when I get back in, some of the dust will settle. And you can never pick a bottom, never pick a top, but when you have turmoil like we got right now in this month of October, that the Fed did the wrong thing, or stuff like that, that would be something to consider. But the bottom line is that we need to be very patient and wait. If you got to hedge yourself with the because you don't want to get out of stocks, that's a bad position. Because you say, hey, I don't want to get out of those stocks. My view is always get out of stocks and then get back in, but that's my view. That's may not be the right view. But the bottom line is we're going to be under pressure. And if you want to hedge yourself, you can do it through SPY puts, QQQ puts, stuff like that, and have a limited hedge. And So I think we're going to change what we normally talk about because of this and talk about hedging yourself, okay? So let's just, Jonathan, if you'll bring up a white piece of paper, I will just give a real quick course on this, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so first thing is talk about the QQQ. Probably one of the best ways to hedge yourself if you want to buy some of these with the QQQ, but you got to consider if you buy this, they're probably worthless. Everybody understand what I'm saying? You can't react in time if you go this route, okay? So let's just talk about the QQQ. The QQQ right now is trading at 596, 596. How much money is that, a 596? You bought 100 shares of the QQQ, how many dollars would it take for 100 shares? I want y'all to do the math with me. 100 shares would be how much money? $60,000, right? So if you had, keep the math simple, you had a $120,000 portfolio to hedge, and you shorted 2 QQQs, you would have a short position in the QQQ. Everybody got that? Okay. Now, another way.
Tom, can you say that again for everybody?
Yeah, if you shorted 200 shares of the QQQ, you'd be that'd take 120,000 short versus stocks that you were long. Okay, that's on the QQQ. Okay, if you short 200 shares of the QQQ, you in effect have on one side on the ledger. Okay, on one side of the ledger, you're putting up, you're shorting 120,000 short, and you got long market value of 120,000. So you got long market value matching if you got 200 versus 200. Okay. Okay. Now, the other thing you can do, 2 Delta 50 puts. Okay. 2 Delta 50 puts is the same as 100 shares. Okay, so if you bought 2 Delta 50 puts, and you say, okay, how much protection do you need? Let's take it through next Wednesday, Jonathan. What's that? 5 days, still a 5-day Delta 50, and see what the cost of a put would be, a Delta 50 put.
QQQ, 5 days out.
Yeah.
You have the money, that's about $5.70 or so. It costs $6.
So about $1,000 on 2 puts, but you got to consider it totally worthless because this thing will snap around and that 1,000 will be worthless if it reverses on you. Okay. So about $1,000 will protect about 120,000. If the market, kept falling, you'd pick up a positive number there as you lost money in your stocks. Okay. And that's just a real quick and dirty way to offset what you do. Another way that you could consider is with the SQQQ, because the SQQ is what is it? It's 2 times or 3 times, John, if I forget, 2 or 3 times.
I think it's 3 times still.
Yeah, I think it's 3 times too. So that's the SQQQ, and the current SQQQ, if you look at it right now, let me find it. You got a price of the SQQQ. Let me look over here. SQQQ.
Yeah,
Yes.
the QQQ.
Is at 15, okay? 15. Yeah. And that's just another way. Puts, shorting the QQQ, couple ways if you want to hold on stock. I'm personally just pretty much into cash. And so I'm in a good position to weather what happens. So that affects the way I think, right? Okay. So that's just something to mill over. And I wanted to cover that. So let's get to our slides. We'll go through our slides. And by the way, I'll be back today at 2:45 with the retirement account and 3 o'clock with the weekly wrap up. So let's get to the slides real quick. I wanted to cover any questions about that for people? That's old news, Ru. That's old news. That's BS. Okay. All right. The first thing we're going to do is go and look at the slides for today. Let's do the slides for today real quick. And then when we wrap up, we'll go back and look at things. No, you're not buying the QQQ, you're selling the QQQ, you're going short the QQQ. All right, this is for new members, a step-by-step process for the new roadmap members can get up and going quickly. And John, why don't you go through this for everybody? You wrote it, so why don't you go through it and explain what you got here?
Sure. Step one, you got to purchase the roadmap. You can do so at dtitrader.com/roadmap. We've been showcasing all morning as we figure out this market. dtitrader.com/roadmap. And maybe one of the team members can type that into the chat for you to make it easier. Step two, after you purchase the roadmap, you're going to check your email for a welcome letter. This goes for all of our products that you purchase, but you get a welcome email for the roadmap. Learn a few things about getting started in that welcome email. Step number three, you want to get signed into the membership area. All right, so that's going to be oneclicktrading.com. Once you get into the membership area, you're going to find the section for roadmap software. Now, if roadmap's the only program that you have, it'll be right there playing in front and center. There's also you can scroll left and right on the page to find the roadmap icon. You can even search. If you prefer to search, there's a way to search. You click show all and go find it that way. Once you go into the roadmap software section, there's a button there that says roadmap installation. Roadmap installation. You're just going to simply
so
click.
far, it's pretty simple. And if you buy the roadmap, you go there and you're on step 5, buy the installation.
Yep. And when you go into installation, try to keep it simple, very simple. We have a video for you to review. The section is labeled, you'll see it on the page. It says downloading the roadmap software on your own. And you'll click that blue link that says this video, or please watch this video on downloading roadmap. The blue ink there is what you can watch. That's about a 3 or 4 minute video, not too long. The video is nice because you can stop and start it as needed. After you download the roadmap, there's an additional video for connecting your data feed. And it's right there listed on the web page, the same page that you just found the video for installing roadmap. A short little ways underneath that is our videos for connecting one of our data feeds. The most people will use the Schwab feed, probably. If you have a Thinkorswim account from Schwab, you can use that data, the same data that powers your Thinkorswim will power the roadmap. It's fantastic data. After that, you're pretty much almost done, but there's a few more steps. All right, you want to download a kind of a starter workspace that we have for you labeled Tom Simple. And to do that, inside the roadmap software, you have a menu bar, and along that menu bar is a launch icon. From that launch icon drop down, you're going to find the word internet. You're going to go to that. And from that internet box, you click the connect button and the boxes fill in. And at the bottom left, there's a workspaces section. You're going to see one that says Tom Simple. You're going to check the box for that and download it. It's all very clear on the box. You check the box for Tom Simple Workspace. At the top is a download button. That just takes a second or two to download. And finally, step 10, you close that box down, you click on Workspaces along the menu bar, and you open the Tom Simple Workspace. And guess what? After that, you're done, ready to use the roadmap. Start learning.
And if anybody wants to get the roadmap and go through those 10 steps, I guarantee you, this is the perfect time you want to have the roadmap software on your computer, okay? Anyway, why don't you put the link if they want to go buy it, the roadmap. But I bet you got a lot of people got their eyes open, and there's going to be a big opportunity if you get it, okay? So there's the way to get it bought. And if you have any questions, send an email to row@DTI Trader, because I'd like you to have it as we enter into this afternoon, if possible, or tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Monday, okay? So, all right, what's next on the agenda here? Slides.
Just a
This is
few
our
days
newsletter.
away.
Yeah, this is our newsletter, folks. It goes out for the year. Boy, that's going to be a hot one to read Monday, isn't it?
Sure is.
Yep, it's going to be a hot one to read Monday, okay? And so gotta love it, okay? This is a retirement account that we manage, mine and yours and all that, but you can join there. You go into the Telegram channel once you join, and then you'll get a link for being there live today at 2:45. Totally free. All you got to do it. And if you do it, you might want to get a Tasty Trade account, because row@dtitrader.com, right? Okay.
Yeah, and that retirement session, Tom did not misspeak. It is at 2:45 today. We usually have it at 2. It's at 2:45 today. So
Yep, 2:45.
I posted a link in the channel, or in the chat, excuse me, if you would like to join that retirement center. Totally free. Totally free. And like Tom mentioned, you can email me, row@DTI Trader, if you need a referral to the Tasty Trade platform.
This is our gold program, which qualifies you for all my services there, and there's a list of them. And if you got any questions about the gold, you can save yourself a lot of money if you like what we do. This is where we put out trade services. And Jonathan, I'm glad I don't have a whole bunch of positions on right now.
Oh, believe me, I am too. I am too. Everybody is.
Yeah, I'm sort of going through this going, boy, how did I end up in cash? Folks, must have been an accident, right? Okay, anyway, but pretty good position to be in during this kind of market. All right, next. All right, this is going to be fun to look at, Jonathan. Show this to him.
Yep, sure is. It's just about to be updated live. Got some new month lows to deal with here, probably maybe a few month highs too. Okay, so after today's market, the S&P and NASDAQ are not above their 3-day high. The S&P is trading at 66.97, below 80, as Tom and Chuck mentioned earlier. That was the 3-day low. So below 60. So see how this market closes today. NASDAQ 3-day low is 24,000, excuse me, 633. So we got about 250 points above that at this point on the NASDAQ. The Dow's below its 3-day low. Crude oil below its 3-day low. Gold remains above its 3-day high. 39.23 is the 3-day high on gold. Silver needs to get above 48.33 to, a new fresh movement above the 3-day high.
Yeah, if you're doing silver, I got a number there. Let me give it to you and verify it. Make sure it's the same thing. Silver, I wrote it down. Let me find it here because I was trading it. I was going to trade it if it's set up. You got 48.43, Jonathan. I got 48.46. 48.46, a little bit higher than what you got, and that takes you above the 45 number. Okay.
Okay, I like it.
Yep.
Bonds are above their 3-day high.
Boy, aren't they? Who told you that bonds were going higher? I did.
You sure did.
Not because of this, but I think they're going a lot higher. Okay, that's bonds.
Bitcoin is about in between the 3-day numbers.
Okay.
We get into some stocks here, or of course TLT related to bonds, of course. Apple is a short as of right now, below 254. They're down at 249.5. AMD remains above its 3-day high. Of course, it had that big gap up in price, so it's got a lot of room down to its 3-day high. Tesla, 3-day low is 435. Palantir needs to get back above 188, but it's
neutral, isn't it?
It's neutral. And most importantly, it's still above its month open. What else we got here? GLW is holding up fairly well, staying above its 3-day high. And the nuclear is holding up pretty well, very well, looks like. And I don't know what they're doing today, but they're well above their 3-day highs.
They're green. Okay. Up $1.30 on my NNE. Okay.
There we go. Yeah. Gold and silver looking good. Hecla, of course, is silver. Diamond red.
Yep. Anyway, just look at this. I'm not doing any trading off here today. The only thing I'm going to do is a weekend side hustle this afternoon towards the close. And the nice thing about that trade, I can go either way. So that's going to be an interesting program to be part of because I will do a trade before the end of the day. All right, let's go to the slides. Talking trade. This is my 24-hour service, and it's active and alive. Let's just say there's $200 a month if you're interested. DTItrader.com/TNT. If you get in the next hour, I will get you admitted today. If you're new and want to sign up for that, it's pretty good. It's where I will post trades in there throughout the week, and especially, boy, hot, huh? DTItrader.com/TNT.
Got a few slides here for numbers that pay. Let's finish out the week with numbers that pay. I've got some fresh snapshot with today's market.
All right, you take it.
Got here. All right. Friday, of course, you got to repeat the process. You get some interesting happenings that can occur after Genesis on Friday as we head into the close. So today is definitely an interesting day for sure. That's for sure. But here's what Friday looks like on numbers that pay. We still got the week open. So question is, are we above or below the week open? And I circled both the last traded price. This I took it about 10 minutes ago or so, I guess. And I circled the week open. You can see that the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, all now below their weekly open. So 67.68 is a key number for the rest of the day. 67.60, that's about 100 points higher here than where we're currently trading at 66.75. So we're lower than 95 right now. We're down to 75 on the S&P futures. Are we above or below? In this case, since we're below the week open, are we also below the Monday's low? Monday's low on the S&P was at 67.66, so right around the same level as the weekly open, Monday open, was the Monday low. So we're below that. So what this means is if you weren't watching the market at all today, excuse me, but you had set an alert at the weekly open or the week start low, you would know that something's wrong. This market was higher coming into the day. All right. When you're trying to protect yourself and alert yourself of something going wrong, one of the alerts you can set on your platforms or on the roadmap, wherever you set alerts, is that weekly open or the week start low. You can also set it at the prior day's low. Over here, 67.60 was the prior day's low. Also included on numbers that pay, we kind of want to see how the market is behaving intraday. All right. What's it doing relative to the open on the futures last night, which was 67.79? What's it doing relative to the pre-market reference bar, RBX, 67.82? Reference bar 3 this morning, if I show the roadmap here, reference bar 3 this morning, which was right here. Where's my marker? Right here. That held above those prior two reference bars, 3 reference bars. And then we see this bar here, which is when our activity picked up, and you heard Chuck saying market's selling off here. When it broke those numbers, he knew immediately something was going on. He went to search for news. How about finding some potential resistance and support levels? The prior day's low can act as support. If it fails, the market can fall. And depending on news, and if it's a news-driven event, we've seen that the market can fall pretty far and pretty fast. At the lows today, 66.59, if it would have gotten down to 66.45, it would have been about a 2.5% drop from the recent high, 68.12 or whatever the recent high is. That would have been about a 2.5. So the fall this morning was about somewhere between 2 and 2.5% from the high. That's a big fall on the day.
Now we're down 1.58 from yesterday's close, so it's a big fall all around.
Yep.
Here's what it did from my standpoint. It broke the monthly open. It broke the weekly open, clearly the daily open, the previous low for the month, and it's trading right now like it wants to go lower. Okay, but we'll find out in a second when we go live, but let's keep going.
Yeah, of course, not only do we have the prior day's lows, we have the weekly low. All right, so the weekly low in this case was coming into the day was 67.47. So that just reiterates what Tom just said. If you're listening to Tom just a minute ago, literally just a few seconds ago, that reiterates all of what he just said. So this week we've been focused on a great feature of the roadmap. It's called Numbers That Pay. And you've probably have, or hopefully have recognized a pattern. That pattern being that we teach the process of how to establish a high-low frame. The roadmap can do that for you. and trading off a high-low frame is essentially what we're doing. Framing is a critical step of what we do, and it's across all different times. All right. It's not just on a monthly basis from the first 3 days high and low. It's on a weekly basis from the weekly high and low. And intraday, completely unique from what you'll find anywhere else. We have the reference bars. All the reference bars have a high and a low that we use. And a step further, that RB frame, which is the prior to reference bars, gives you a very good look, if not the best look, when you're trading intraday of trying to keep you on the right side of the market. Now, I think that does it for the week's training on numbers that pay. I sure have enjoyed the week. Numbers that pay is a great feature. It was good to showcase that one. All right. Do we have any questions? It's the last trend of the trade of the week. Do we have any questions on this particular feature since we just walked through it? I think we've answered all your questions up to this point with the feature, probably. But here's your last chance. Do you have any questions on the numbers that pay? Tom, we got a few slides on your Weekend Profits Club. You mentioned you're going to have a trade.
Yep, I'm going to do
for
it.
that. We just have a few slides, and then we're going to run one of your past streams so people can learn about it.
Oh, okay. Before we do that, before I go through all this, let's go to a live market and look at Genesis real quick, and then I'll come back and do this, okay?
Yep, sounds good. I'll bring up the roadmap here.
Okay, put the E-mini in there if you will.
Yeah, we're looking at the E-mini, and the low, Genesis low, which is currently the low of the day, is 66.59.
Okay, 59 is the low, right?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. 59 is the low. I want to do two things here. I want to set a couple alerts here. Okay, create alert. Okay, and do a couple here just for fun of it. Okay, E-mini, right?
Yep.
Call out the high, please.
The Genesis high is 67.05.
Okay, 67.05. There it is, right there. Okay, I'm setting an alert there. Create alert. Set an alert there. I'm hitting create. Okay, got it. Okay, and then what's the low of this? 66.50, 58? Low of the
59. 59.
Okay. Setting alert. So I got alert setting there. And the reason I'm doing that, folks, I want to know where we go from Genesis because you know what the rule is. 4 out of 5 times, this will be the low of the day. 1 out of 5, it's a continuation day. So it ought to be interesting to watch Genesis day under fire, we'll call it, okay? So I got my alert set. I want to do one other, do the SPX. Jonathan, do the SPX, and let's do the same thing with numbers, okay? Tell me the high and low of Genesis on the SPX.
Well, the high is 66.62.
Okay. Low?
18. 66.18.
Okay. And the midpoint there would be 70, 80, 66.40 is the midpoint.
Right.
Okay. For the cash. Reason I want to do the cash, folks, I just might pounce on this thing this afternoon. So don't miss the 3 o'clock deal. Okay. All right, let's go back to the slides. I got my numbers. I'm going to see, we'll call the day Genesis under fire. All right, the weekend side hustle is a very proven way, the way we work it. We put the trade out with 30 minutes to go. Every single week, I give you my best opportunity. I'm going to have really a good one, I think, either up or down, depending on what we're looking at and happens between now and then, okay? You get email alerts, text thing, money matters, get discounts on the entity I trade, and sometimes get paid early. All right. Anyway, it's 9:68 for if you want to join me. Like I said, I'll do it the last 30 minutes of the day. We'll take a little break during our wrap up and I'll go put the trade on. So call 904-706-7632. Patience is going to pay, and I couldn't ask for a better reason than you being here to watch me go through the next 3 days. This is how I made my bones, so to speak, as a trader. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Yes, no. Are y'all ready? 2:45. Enjoy your lunch. Think about all the pleasant things that's going to happen because of this happened. And we're going to take advantage of it because we're going to take advantage of it. All right. Jonathan, why don't you play the long version, let it hear it. It's pretty good. And you got to be excited. Been here before. And I think you'll see what I'm talking about.
We dive in, the profits and performance shown are not typical. We make no future earnings claims, and obviously anyone can lose money in the markets. The majority of the trades expressed are from historical backtested data in order to demonstrate the potential of the system. The average backtested return per weekend, winners and losers included, that's a big sentence there, winners and losers included, is $1,592 of profit per weekend based on a 5K starting stake. But you don't have to spend 5K if you don't want to. Every example is based on that same starting investment unless otherwise stated. The historic success rate, Tom, 84%. Incredible stuff you're doing here. Of course, we can't guarantee any future specific results. There's always a high degree of risk involved in trading, and you can go to the DTI homepage.
Yeah, and as we're talking today, I want you to remember that number, $1,592 by following this process. I mean, do the math on that. You just got to get excited about it.
Absolutely. And then one more time, in trading, there are always going to be losers. There's not a black box miracle system that prints out winners automatically. We've always been transparent about that. Tom's completely transparent about that. Whole purpose of what Tom's doing is to work with traders and help give you an edge, which is what we're trying to do today. But if you don't think you can handle a losing trade, then don't trade with real money. Do some paper trading, follow along however else you want, but don't put your real money on the line. So if you don't know me, I am Prosperity Pub Editor-in-Chief, Stephen Ground, and I'm excited to talk about what we're diving into today. Before we get going, take a close look at this redacted document from CBOE. What you're looking at is a special perk set up by the Chicago Board of Options Exchange in the last few years. A perk that now allows everyday folks to target extra income over the weekend from any regular brokerage account. I'm talking about payouts that our study shows were worth $1,592 on average in extra income each weekend. That means while the rest of the world is left empty-handed on Saturday and Sunday, while the stock market is closed, we have an opportunity to target extra income over the weekend while still getting the most out of life. Like on March 27, 2025, not long ago, could have taken a few minutes to place a quick trade before the weekend hit, maybe hit the road for a weekend camping trip, and come back Monday with an extra $2,524 in your brokerage account. Then the next weekend came, April 3rd. You could have set your trade, booked your favorite bed and breakfast for the weekend, and woke up Monday with a crisp $2,500 in extra income.
Starts adding up.
It sure does. A few days went by, then you can do it again, April 10th, not long before my birthday. Hit a few buttons on your phone or laptop to get in before the weekend hits. Then you could have taken your closest friends out to dinner on Friday, covered the greens fees on Saturday. Tom, I know you'd enjoy that. Picked up brunch on Sunday, and when Monday came, instead of dreading the start of your week, you could have come back to a cool $2,528 in extra income sitting in your account. Now, before we get too far along, I want to be very clear. Again, There's nothing guaranteed in the markets, right? There's no instant income magic pill. Tom, if there was, you would have found it by now, I think. But just like with anything in the stock market, there's going to be winners and losers along the way, and you need to be prepared for that. But that's why, for the next few minutes, we want you to forget about being the next overnight millionaire, because financial freedom doesn't happen overnight. Happens bit by bit, in this case, weekend after weekend. And with what my special guest is about to share with you today, your weekends could be just a little bit more enjoyable, knowing that when Monday hits, we're out of the trade. So really think about this. What if there was a way to target an extra $1,592 on average in extra income each and every weekend? All by taking a few minutes to set the position before the weekend hits and clocking out on Monday. Thanks to a shocking discovery found inside this document, it's now possible. Welcome to the Weekend Side Hustle.
You gotta love that name.
Absolutely. Now, as I mentioned before, my name's Stephen Ground, and in my job, I get to work alongside a lot of the world's top trading experts. It's a true joy and privilege of mine, and I'm constantly on the hunt for strategies that could help me, a relative beginner, make trading simpler. And also, help the folks out there. So when I heard about this new way of generating income over the weekend, I knew that I had to explore it more. It's a legal way to target cash over the weekend while most folks out there are left making zilch, or worse yet, giving up their weekend to do some other kind of side hustle. So if you're looking for a way to target extra income to help pay for everyday expenses or just to help boost your retirement nest egg, then this may be perfect for you. The man behind this new discovery started his professional trading career back in the 1970s. In 1992, he was one of only 50 professionals to be handpicked by the CME to receive his very own Globex terminal. And he even helped manage a firm so successfully that it was eventually bought out by the $1.3 trillion institution Morgan Stanley. Now that he's walked away from Wall Street, he's been on a mission to help everyday folks tap into some of the same methods that have been kept away from the average Joe in the past. And just hear some of the very best stories from some of his other students following his work. Like Bruce L. from Texas, who said, "When I follow you, I make money." Tom is committed to helping you all the way through the trade. Then there's Bob E., who said, "The program is amazing, up over 2K today." Or how about Emmanuel O. from New Mexico? "You're a great teacher, Tom. I made around $2,200 from one trade. Keep up the good work." Those are some of the best stories from students following along with none other than trading legend Tom Busby. You've seen him on Bloomberg, CNBC, CNN. He's the author of 3 incredible books that I recommend to everybody. And Tom, I'm really excited to be here with you today.
Well, Stephen, it is great to be here, and thanks for having me on today. Now, today, we're going to empower you, though. And I want to show you how, just with a few minutes of your time, a couple clicks inside your brokerage account, you could set up your very own weekend side hustle inside the stock market. One that has shown the power to pay $1,592 on average in extra income each weekend. There's an opportunity. And the timing for this brand new briefing couldn't have been any better. Right now, some of the hardest working folks are getting destroyed by inflation. And the cost to buy an average home has increased 70% in the last 6 years.
Oof.
So even if you got a raise last year,
Yeah.
it probably doesn't feel like it. It's making much of a difference at the end of the day. Thanks to inflation, we're seeing things like credit card debt hit all-time highs. That's left folks looking anywhere they can to generate extra income to cover their bills and their expenses.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost impossible to keep up with the ever-rising cost of living anymore. Most folks think that the only way to generate extra income, hey, get a second job at Costco or working overtime hours or late weekend nights.
Yep.
But with what I'm about to share with you, you can now start your very own weekend side hustle right from the comfort of your sofa. And right now, I think everybody needs that side hustle.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter if you have a multi-million-dollar retirement account or just starting out with a few $1,000s. All you need, pretty simple, standard brokerage account, raise your hand if you got one, internet connection, raise your hand if you got one, and a few minutes to set the trade before the weekend. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to invite you to kickstart your very own weekend side hustle. before we get there, take a walk with me back to February of this year.
All right.
In the back half of February 2025, the stock market took a terrible nosedive.
Yeah, we remember that.
Now, let's say someone had 5,000 invested. That's the amount we'll refer to show you the power of this with every example. Now, in the middle of February, the S&P was in a terrible fall. Over the weekend of February the 20th, folks taking the trusty old buy and hold route would have lost money.
Mm-hmm.
But if folks would have followed along with the process of the weekend side hustle, they've seen a much different story. Look at that, $2,524. Well, the S&P was falling, 2,520 went in your brokerage account. And the very next weekend rolled around, same exact story. The weekend of February 28th, the S&P lost $84.50, NASDAQ $115, small caps $140, and NVIDIA lost
Got
$445, got crushed. But what we're going to share with you today on that same weekend, you could have hit it out of the park with this process. $2,528.
Look at that.
You choose. Which one do you want?
Not a hard question, Tom. 2528 is a meaningful chunk of change. And think about it. Thanks to years of inflation, everyone in this room right now has felt that. The cost of living has gone skyward. It's out of control. Even if you were comfortable 5 years ago, you're still feeling the squeeze. In fact, just since 2021, we've seen the monthly average mortgage price nearly double from $1,316 all the way to $2,207 a month. And for a lot of folks, I'm sure that feels low. That's nearly a $900 increase every single month. And it's not like people have a lot of extra change laying around to cover the difference either, not unless you're sitting on a pretty good nest egg to begin with, and even that's being eaten away. But folks who would have taken advantage of the weekend side hustle that you're talking about, they could have more than covered the cost of the average monthly mortgage without needing to slave away at a desk job working extra hours to make it happen, right? Instead, you could have done it all while enjoying life to the fullest over the weekend. And keep in mind that $2,528, that would have come in while every major index, small caps, and even the Magnificent Seven were in the toilet.
That's right, Stephen. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let me just say this. If you have a job, I'm not telling you to quit it.
Right.
If you've been steadily saving for retirement, don't stop. What I'm sharing with you today is a way that could help you supplement your income with a new technique that I don't think anyone else is using. If you're here right now, you're probably, pretty smart individual. You're looking for this. Like any investment strategy, there's risk. There'll be winning weeks and there'll be losing weeks. That's why our team worked extra hard to optimize the method behind the weekend side hustle. Now, of course, no one can guarantee future returns, but when you account for all the weekends so far, from the study, winners and losers included, we're looking at what could have been, on average, $1,592 in extra income each weekend. Just like what we saw back on the weekend of February 13th this year. Had you taken a few minutes to place a trade before the markets closed on Friday, a key part of the strategy, you could have spent your free time on Saturday and Sunday, maybe skiing in the mountains, and come back after weekend to do this, $2,523.
Tom, I want to put that in perspective for all the folks at home here, because that's an incredible number. The average household has just north of $6,400 a month in expenses. Maybe some folks out there feel like that's low. And I'm talking about things like healthcare, food, transportation, clothing, just the bare necessities, right? Meanwhile, the average monthly income in the US is only $4,901 every month. Now, how can anyone possibly keep up with that? You can't, right? It's mathematically impossible. And that's a huge income gap many folks can't fill right now. But this weekend side hustle project, it could help everyday people fill that income gap and then some. And the last three examples alone, the ones you just showed us, which happened back to back to back, you're looking at what could have been more than the average Joe brings in each month. Average salary, $4,300. Weekend side hustle, $7,577.
That's just
3 trades.
That's just 3 trades.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay attention. That's just 3 trades.
And that's more than enough to
Right.
cover the average monthly expenses that we just talked about.
Right.
And that means that, most importantly, the money that you worked your tail off for, folks at home, to earn for yourself and your family can actually be used for the things you want to spend it on. Or you're simply building up the rainy day fund, which almost nobody has right now.
Stephen, this is why I get excited about this project, and that's why I'm on this mission. And this mission is to show you how to unlock this little known income opportunity hidden right there in front of that redacted document. Now, you can take advantage of all the new weekend side hustles right away, starting this very week. It's going to happen in hours. And based on our research, you won't be able to target these types of steady returns anywhere else. Most financial advisors or local finance gurus in your town might lead you to think that the only way to hit your retirement goals is to stash money away in a trusty S&P fund or a mutual fund and hope it grows enough for you to be able to retire. But unfortunately, that's just not getting the job done anymore.
No.
Do the math. At 6% annual, it would take 41 years for a pretty sizable 100,000 invested to hit $1 million. And sadly, $1 million simply isn't what it used to be. In fact, a recent study suggests that the American dream costs 4 times that much.
Wow.
That's hard. That's
Hard
a
to
hill.
believe.
That's a hill to climb.
Yeah.
And retirement. Well, sadly, it's a pipe dream for many folks. That's why people are working longer.
No.
Millions of people, young and old, have been forced to delay their retirement. Now, forget about retiring at 65. Far too many folks will be forced to work well into their 70s. That's why, whether you're retired or just starting out the workforce, you need to pay attention because you need a weekend side hustle to have the opportunity to fill that gap that's being created through no fault of yours, targeting extra income over the weekend while most folks are left without a way to earn extra buck from the markets. And so far, the results from our study are outstanding, with a success rate north of 80%.
And what do you always say when someone has a success rate of 80%? You need to listen and take notes, I believe.
Listen and pay attention. That's like cashing in with extra income 4 out of every 5 weekends. That means you can target this weekend income regardless if the stock market goes up, down, or flat. That's the beautiful thing about the strategy. Take the end of last year, for example. Before Christmas, the markets rose $2,530.
Not bad.
Weekend number 1. And following the weekend, Santa Claus rally stalled and the markets fell. What happened? $1,275.
Didn't matter at all.
And each weekend we have the same opportunity. It fits into our process, like over the very next weekend when the stock market barely moved, $2,500. There's a pattern here.
Absolutely incredible.
And I'll show you that pattern, thanks to that special type of trade over the weekend we're able to collect, even if the trade goes slightly against us.
And Tom, in the case of just those 3 examples you just showed, I mean, look at that, 2530, 1275, 2500. Folks could have had a chance to pocket extra income over the weekend, regardless of whether the market goes up, down, or flat. And keep in mind, folks, you could have spent the weekend doing the things you love, just like Tom here does. Maybe that means spending some extra time tossing the football with the grandkids or going to Disney with Paula, your lovely wife. Maybe that means a relaxing round of golf with the guys on the weekend. Or maybe, as you just wrapped up here in the last couple weeks, maybe it means coming down to one of Tom's world-class coaching sessions to hang out with other awesome traders just like you.
And I want to make a comment. You know, a lot of people really tout what we did last week. All you got to do is ask the students who were there. We had like 94% of those signed up for next year.
That's amazing.
That's an amazing stat.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome about this weekend side hustle. However you choose to spend your weekend, that's your choice, because you know that Monday has just become your new favorite day of the week, which is saying a lot for folks. So, Tom, it's time to spill the beans here. What's making this all possible?
Well, Stephen, as I've told you, it's thanks to that special perk set up by the Chicago Board of Options Exchange in the summer of 2022. In fact, up until this announcement, the weekend income opportunity really wasn't available to folks like you or me. But now they've unlocked it for the everyday Joe, those that listen for years and years to come. What the CBO did was they launched daily options on a few tickers that we can use to target income over the weekend. Now, don't worry, you don't need any special type account to do this. You already have access to these inside your regular brokerage account. Just need to know what to do.
Mhm.
These daily options allow us to specifically target income over the weekend, close it out on Monday. And if everything works out, we know we have a chance to target an extra 1592 by the time Monday hits.
Love that. That number's crazy.
Just like in the final weekend of January. All you needed to do was set your trade on Friday, January the 30th, before the markets closed for the weekend. Again, a key thing you have to do. Sure enough, by the time Monday hit and the cash fund settled, hey, 2,523.
Not too bad.
And don't worry, place your trade with the weekend side hustle, no different. Maybe trading Apple or Amazon. Simple, straightforward. Now, this is a good time to remind people, no strategy wins all the time. That's why you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. But my goal is to do everything within my power to show you how this works and help you limit losses when they do occur. After all, nobody likes to place losing trades.
Of course.
That's why our team and worked tirelessly over the last few months to get this method for you and me for good times and bad. And I'm happy to report that after analyzing over a half year of data, the final study shows it's small account friendly. $100 minimum position size,
That's incredible.
$15.92 average weekend payout based on that 5,000, and the success rate. This is what I love touting the most: accuracy, 84%. With
That's
built-in risk management.
really, really unbelievable, Tom. And I know you're a pretty humble guy. You don't brag on yourself a lot, but in your career, you've been able to help a lot of extraordinary traders across your services. Some of your happiest readers, like Dick and C, have written in $1,930 in profit in less than 4 days. My top money making strategy. Or how about Jim P, who said total of $2,060. Great way to start the month. Please pass along my thanks to Tom. So Tom from Jim, he says thanks. But what we're covering here today, this works a little differently than anything else you've done before. So Tom, tell us, how does this really work? What are you doing here?
Well, see, first you need to understand when most people think of the word options, they think about buying options.
Right.
There's always two sides of the coin. But instead of just buying options outright like most people do, I use a special type of trade on these daily options to collect premiums on other people's risky bets.
Okay.
And no, it has nothing to do with naked options. Think about all those massive insurance companies like State Farm or Progressive.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing the odds. They just sit back and collect those insurance premiums on folks month after month. We're doing the same exact thing, but in the stock market.
Okay.
When the odds are in your favor. Taking a weekend paycheck by collecting premiums on other folks' risky bets time and time again. By the way, I collect these premiums in the stock market is very unique. You see, with CBO listed these daily options, they priced it in such standard way that premium each day, the way it counts. Tuesday, option, 1 day worth of premium. Go to Wednesday, very standard. Collect 1 day each day. But what if you did a different type technique? And most people do this because it's easy and simple doing that, but they don't realize how much money they could be leaving on the table. I didn't realize it until I did the work, but because frankly, there's a better and safer way to do it. You see, by entering before the weekend, collecting income from Monday options, we get bonus premiums just for holding over the weekend.
Makes perfect sense.
That's like instantly tripling your odds on something working for you by the amount of premium you collect in the process. And get this, because the market is closed on Saturday and Sunday, you're able to sidestep a lot of market action.
Yeah.
But you still get paid for all 3 days. Just like what would happen back on April 17th. Could have spent your week staring at charts. I've done that. Banging my head against the wall. I've done that. Hoping to find that edge late at night. Or you could have taken about 30 minutes of your time to place a special type trade to collect the bonus premiums over the weekend. And gone off to enjoy your life. And sure enough, well, folks invested in S&P 500 made nothing over the weekend. Zero return, zilch. With the weekend side hustle, you could have cashed in with $2,500 on that weekend.
That's not a hard choice to make there.
Yes, if you do the math you did on the house payments, it's like 2.5.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you can just go out and blind. You just can't go out and blindly pick options to make that happen.
Right.
If that were the case, everyone would be doing it. You just have to know which trades to place, when to place those trades, and I'm going to show you everything you need to know to start your very own weekend side hustle right away. Because right now, we're already determined everyone needs a side hustle.
Absolutely. That's so true.
Doesn't matter where
No.
you live, who you have your brokerage account with, or you've been trading for 35 years or longer like me, or just getting started. I'm holding a live step-by-step workshop to show you exactly how to start targeting these payouts with the weekend side hustle. It'll include full details for how to place your trade, make your trade work, and how to upgrade your account, what you need to do to manage your risk so you can start using this technique in your account today. And I'd like to invite folks out there to join me for free today, so you can start taking advantage of the weekend side hustle right away. And once you get your hands on this step-by-step video course, you'll be shocked how clear-cut it really is. You'll immediately be able to start using it this very weekend, just like we could have done on April the 24th. After just hitting a few buttons, you could have locked and loaded for the weekend and have your trade work. Just select a trade, send it off, back to your normal day. And sure enough, by the time Monday hit, the weekend side hustle could have paid again, $2,119.
Tom, will any regular brokerage account do the job here?
Yeah, any regular brokerage account works. They all work. In fact, the government even allows this unique strategy to be used in retirement accounts.
That's an awesome advantage. Tom, I have to tell you, the weekend side hustle is something I definitely want to start trying right away. And like you said, you hit the nail on the head. Everyone needs a side hustle right now. It's a lot easier than DoorDash. In your career, you've been no stranger to showing folks results just like these in the past. Just hear from some of the top stories from your students following along in your sister services. There's Ken, who said, I love its simplicity, a great tool to trade, picked up an extra $3,200 today. Or Robert, who said, over $2,000 today, everyone should be a part of it. Or how about Hugh T from Minnesota, who sent in this $3,656 in single day profit.
He was so happy.
Absolutely, you can see it there.
Yeah. Yeah, Stephen, those are amazing stories. But I can't wait to hear from Ken, Robert, Hugh, and many others once they get started with the weekend side hustle. That's why I agreed to sit down with you here today to share this way and share it with the world, to show people how to start using the weekend side hustle to help radically boost their income. And today, the folks out there can claim access to this live workshop so they can start implementing this unique strategy in their own accounts. That's the beauty of it. Just by subscribing to my flagship weekends income service. We call it the Weekend Profits Club.
Love it.
This service is solely dedicated to targeting extra income over the weekend, thanks to that special perk set up by the CBOE just months ago. One has shown the power to pay $1,592 on average in extra income each weekend there's an opportunity. Now today, I'm hoping to bring in about 100 new members from wherever you are, all walks of life, whether you've been investing for years or just getting started. Every single week, I'll give you my best weekend income opportunity. Stay tuned. One that I would personally recommend to my closest friends and family. Folks, that's up to 52 weekend income opportunities every year.
Absolutely. And each one of those is based on the same method that your study has shown. Again, listen to this number, an average of $1,592, winners and losers. Every weekend, there's a setup.
Hey, I'm holding nothing back. In each Weekend Profits Club alert, I'll break it all down for you, step by step. The ticker, when to place the trade, the options criteria, interest and exits, all in there. Each income alert will have clear instructions on how to place the trade. We do all the hard work to find each income opportunity for you and just read each alert and follow along if you choose. Just like what would have happened on May the 8th, a few weeks ago. Look at that. Get it, send it out there, the trade alert right in your inbox. There it is, weekend side hustle. All you had to do is take the trade. You could have spent your weekend maybe playing golf, working on that short game, or practicing for the next pickleball tournament. And by the time Monday hit, an extra $2,522 while the S&P went down. That's the kind of strategy you want. not market dependent.
Right.
And don't feel like you need to be sitting next to your computer all day long. I'll post a trade each Thursday around noon. The window actually goes from Thursday around noon to Friday's close. You have plenty of time to get in before the weekend hits. I want you to experience the Weekend Profits Club to be as hands-free as possible. Of course, alongside the email alerts, I also include cell phone alerts. So while you're out and about, you can always take advantage. And the next weekend rolls around, May 15th, you'll have gotten an email, taken a trade if you choose. And sure enough, anyone who'd gotten in on that one would have made $2,200.22. Wow, I like that number.
Incredible. Tom, between just those two trades that you're talking about, that could have been an extra $4,745 after just 2 weekends. I'm just sitting here imagining what the folks out there would have done with an extra nearly $5,000. Maybe paid off some debt, helped out their kids or grandkids, maybe even started planning their next vacation.
You know, great choices, always have choices, but maybe the most important thing was not having to constantly worry about having enough money all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, huge burden for folks right now. And that's why I want to include another very special piece to your membership. You see, unlike most stocks out there, the CBO specifically set these options up to include special tax benefits. Listen up, folks. This is another reason I like it. Where you can save money on taxes that you would otherwise pay to Uncle Sam if you were trading other popular tickers like SPY, QQQ, Apple, and others. All you need is that standard brokerage account, internet connection, and a few minutes to set the trade before the weekend. That's why I'll also be including a very special report that shows your money matters, how to automatically save up to 25% on taxes from the weekend side hustle.
It's a huge difference.
Inside that report, you see all the ways you're entitled to save money come tax season. And don't worry, if you follow along with the trade alerts, your broker will automatically do the savings for you when you get your final year-end report. So instead of paying a big fat check to the government, keep more of your hard-earned risk capital for yourself right in your pocket.
I'm almost speechless. The Weekend Profits Club is unlike anything I've ever seen before. And again, just between those two trades that you talked about just most recently, we're looking at what could have been another $47.45 in extra income, just over 2 weekends. And this isn't like missing out on Amazon in 1999 or even Nvidia in 2021. These opportunities just happened. And that's just after 2 weeks. As a member of the Weekend Profits Club, you're giving folks up to 50 more weekend opportunities. So I have to ask, will new memberships cost around $4,700 per year?
And Stephen, I firmly believe it's worth every penny of that. But before we talk price, I want to highlight maybe one of the biggest benefits of being a member to Weekend Profits Club. You see, there's something I haven't mentioned yet today, and it takes the Weekend Profits Club to a whole new level. While we normally target extra income over the weekend, closing out on Monday, sometimes the trade is just so good, we get paid before the weekend even hits. Now think about going into the weekend with your money in your pocket after you took the risk on a Friday with extra cash already in hand. That's a total game changer.
Totally, absolutely is.
That's exactly what happened in one of my favorite examples, March the 6th. As a member, you would have received a trade alert on Thursday around noon. And sure enough, by the time Friday hit, the trade was so good that me and my team chose to lock in the gains before the weekend, pulled down another $2,500.
Yeah, you'd have to choose those.
That was good. Now, for anyone out there who would have loved to head into the weekend with that extra $2,500 in your pocket, here's another special bonus for you. We call it the early payday exit plan. Inside this special briefing, I'll show you how to set your profit target so that your trade will automatically close out at your desired price once we hit our goal. That way you can set the trade, walk away to enjoy life, and I even include exclusive information on how to automatically help protect if it goes against you.
I have to admit, I mean, that's the cherry on top of this Sunday. This membership is really, really special. And your students absolutely love the materials you put together. I got to sit with a bunch of them last week and hear some of their stories from folks in your various trainings in the past. Ed P, we see him a lot, easy to follow entry and exit signals. The benefit is more than their trading success. And this is what everybody always says. The program has given me confidence that if I had to rely only on my trading to make a living, I could do it. Think about how big a burden
That's
that
a
is on someone's
huge,
shoulders.
huge place we take people.
Exactly. Kenneth P said, Tom's an excellent coach, trainer, and trader, easy to follow. I'm 110% a member for life. I love those stories.
You know, we have some remarkable stories. Now, of course, regardless of how good the research results show, not every trade's going to work out. So you should never risk more than you can afford to lose on any one single trade. And luckily, you don't have to. You can take the weekend profit clubs for as little as $100 on average. And if you're starting small, I'm okay with that. Whether you're starting with $1,000 or $1 million, I want you to focus on the trainings and understand the process. I'm teaching you to fish, getting the hang of these straightforward weekend profits club opportunities. You can always start small and scale it over time. And that's why it doesn't matter who you are out there, whether you're young or whether you're old. If you've been trading for 10 years or just getting started, I want to invite you from wherever you're coming from to jump into the Weekend Profits Club. Take one of those 100 spots. And based on the last 4 examples I've shown you, add it up. $9,363 per year on those 4.
Unbelievable.
Now, for the new members today, we're not going to run anything close to that price. That's why you got to be one of these 100. It's a chicken, fish, or steak moment. Get the discounted price. Be part of this as we roll it out for the entire world to unlock the full potential of the Weekend Profit Club. New opportunity coming to your inbox. Starts on Thursday, ends on Friday, gets in there just before the weekend hits.
Tom, I bet these spots are going to fill up very fast today.
Well, let's just say they should fill up fast if people are sitting there thinking, I need to know this process. I better learn it.
Absolutely. So what's the price going to be then? $5,000 for a year feels way more than fair for this.
Well, forget about paying $5,000. Forget about paying $3,500. In fact, members who join through the main website get everything they've seen for $24.97.
What a deal. That's incredible.
But folks watching right now, we're live, get an even better deal. You see, after analyzing more than a half year of data, I have to admit, it's exciting. We're blown away by the results of the Weekend Profits Club. In fact, if you take all the trade examples, winning, losing weekends, all take it, $39,794 and some odd cents. We didn't put that there. Okay? Keep in mind that the same time frame, the S&P actually went down 3%.
Right. This has not been a pretty year so far.
Yeah. Then you look at the Weekend Profits Club on the right-hand side, $39,794. Notice the increase that we're doing with the strategy, down $150. You choose. Now, it's not even close. And that's exactly how it's been designed, that no other investment approach comes even close. For time spent, money paid. But with that said, I want to be very, very clear. If you hope to become an overnight millionaire, this is not for you. If you want to gamble on risky stocks, this isn't for you. In fact, I'm hoping that the Weekend Profits Club will open the door for many folks out there that never thought trading was an option for them. Gives them that extra income, that side hustle income. And that's why I'm not willing to charge an arm and a leg for you to join today. Which brings me to one final bonus. I know that program at $24.97 is a phenomenal value. And I know people might be struggling there, and paying north of $2,000 is still quite a lot of money. However, you may not be comfortable spending that much right now, but I don't want there to be any reason anybody out there can't join. Ultimately, my goal is to see students pay off their membership. I call it a scholarship as soon as possible.
And Tom, when you talk about scholarships, you've had plenty of your students do that in the past.
Yeah, just ask the people that were with me last week.
Bob from Cutler Bay said, thank you. This has been the best service. I've already made back my entire subscription cost in just 2 weeks. Or how about Whitney, who told us, I made my cost of subscription plus $500 in my first week. I'm very grateful to have found you.
If you're watching right now, I want you to have the same experience as Bob and Whitney, but I want to help you get there a lot faster. Special bonus, the Weekend Profits Club, here it is, Founders Discount. today, if you join and take one of those spots, I'm inviting you to join right now. If you take action, it won't be the $24.97 like the online retail price. You'll get a complete access for more than half off. That's right. Today, I've shown you time and time again how the weekend side hustle is an integral part everybody out there needs to have in their account. It opens the door to extra $1,592 in weekend income on average each time there's a setup. So when you join today, right here in this room, you'll get complete access to the all-new Weekend Profits Club. Only $1,592 for founding members. Look at that.
Wow.
But I have to warn you, it's a limited time special. All spots will fill up fast. No hesitation. So if you're ready to take action and be with us and put the Weekend Profits Club to work for you, then go to dtitrader.com/WPC. Or you can call 904-706-3532, get any questions answered, or simply click in the link in the chat and get on board.
Wow, Tom. I mean, that's an unbelievable price. $15.92 is
Yeah.
the average trade result for winners and losers. But in many of those examples you showed us, you're making, 1.5 or 2 times that. That's unbelievable. So folks, go to dtitrader.com/WPC right now or call 904-706-3532. I'm sure Adam just dropped the link in the chat. Tom, this is unbelievable.
Starting right now, you have the opportunity to kickstart your very own weekend side hustle. Because everyone needs a side hustle.
Absolutely.
What will the first weekend income opportunity be? Well, only the founding members are going to know that one. And while we can never promise any future gains, just take a look at what happened back on March the 13th. The alert would have hit your inbox. That's the process. Thursday at noon. You had plenty of time to get in before the weekend. And in case of this signal, it would have been yet another winner before the weekend hit. $1,105 weekend income. Imagine going into the weekend with an extra $1,105 in your hand, and then off to enjoy your weekend just a little bit more than you did before.
It's really, really incredible stuff, Tom.
Yeah, don't miss out on your first weekend income opportunity. Go to dtitrader.com/WPC, or you can call 904-706-3532.
We've got a really great team of experts too standing by. If you have questions, we're obviously going to dive into the chat here in a minute and go through some frequently asked questions, but the easiest way, just call our team. They're standing by to help you. Tom, I love it. Look at all you packed into this. It's really unbelievable. And folks, just hear some of the top love letters Tom's team has received over the years from folks in his sister services. Like Whitney, she said, I made my cost of subscription plus $500 in my first week. Very grateful to have found you. Or how about Jim P? Total of $2,060. Great way to start the month. Please pass along my thanks to Tom. Ken said, I love its simplicity. It's a great tool to trade. Picked up an extra $3,200 today. How about Emmanuel O? You're a great teacher. I made around $2,200 from one trade. Keep up the good work. Those are some of the very best stories so far, Tom, and I absolutely love this next one. Kenneth P. says, I think he captures you here perfectly. You're an excellent coach, trainer, and trader. You're easy to follow. And Ken said he's 110% a member for life. And we hope that you will be too. So go to dtitrader.com/WP or call 904-706-3532 to get started. There's an weekend income opportunity coming up in just a couple days here. So people want to take advantage of that. And now, folks, once you take one of those founding memberships, don't close the next page, because on the next page, Tom set up an opportunity for you to be just like Kenneth and actually upgrade your membership to lifetime. And I highly recommend doing that. I'm sure Tom highly recommends doing that, because with the incredible savings on the founding membership, with data like this that we've already talked about, small account friendly, $100 a month or per trade minimum position size, $15.92 average weekend payout, winners and losers included. And as you said, that incredible 84% success rate. Spots are going to fill up very quickly. So make sure you order today. Go to dtitrader.com/WPC, call the team 904-706-3532, and kickstart your weekend side hustle today?
Remember, Stephen, we're going after the bonus premiums in the market. I'll show people how to do it, something you can't get any other day of the week. And because the market is closed on Saturday and Sunday, we're able to sidestep a lot of market action.
Mm-hmm.
But you still get paid for every day you're at risk. Just like what would have happened back on weekend of April 17th. You could have spent your weekend staring at charts, banging your head against a brick wall, hoping to find an edge. Or you could have taken about 30 minutes of your time to place a special trade to collect the bonus premiums over the weekend. Taking your closest friends out to dinner, covered the green fees maybe on a Saturday, and picked up brunch on a Sunday. What a weekend.
Absolutely.
And sure enough, hey, 2,500 in weekend income. That's a healthy payday for a Monday.
Absolutely, Tom. And I love one of the things you said there, cutting out that volatility during the week, because
Right.
everybody knows right now we're living in a world where, just for example, the president and the world's richest man can get in a little fight on Twitter and sink the price of Tesla and DJT and drag down the whole markets overnight. But by trading over the weekend, you don't have to worry about that. Sure, there will be news, but it's not going to affect the markets because the markets are closed. That's just
Yeah, and
another
that's
thing I love here.
a unique thing about from Friday to Monday you'll
Mhm.
learn. And I'm going to teach you, and don't be fearful that you won't know how to do these type trades. They're step by step the way I teach it, and I think got a pretty good track record of teaching people
Yeah.
about options and how to use options the correct way.
I don't think anyone's ever left one of your strategies saying, I didn't know how to do it.
Exactly.
You're a very, very good teacher. And now, folks, it's time to make a choice. What Tom calls chicken, fish, or steak. You mentioned that earlier. You can go back to doing whatever it is you've been doing, struggling to keep up, or just watching the nest egg get eaten away by inflation, putting your full faith in the markets, the economy, maybe worse yet, the government, hoping for the best,
Right.
hoping that it helps fill the massive hole in our pockets right now. Look at this, a record number of Americans only making their minimum credit card payment.
We're going to change that. Join this weekend side hustle right now. Don't hesitate.
Absolutely. Or you can do something better, something new, and start targeting weekend income this very week, up, down, or sideways. Choice is yours. What are you going to do, right? If you want to take advantage, you go to dtitrader.com/WPC or call 904-706-3532. That's certainly what I'd do. Tom, I know you've had a lot of happy people do it in the past. We're going to dive into the chat here in a minute, see what folks are asking. But first, Tom, let's run through some FAQs if you don't mind. How much money is needed for these trades?
Well, the trades average around 97 cents. And as you've seen today, that means most cost less than $100 per
That's
option.
incredible. You can scale that up as much as you want.
Absolutely.
But
That's
just
what I like about it. Easy math, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Will every trade be a winner?
Of course not. No strategy wins 100% of the time, but according to our tests, these weekend profit club alerts have shown the power to be extremely profitable for folks who stick with me and the system.
84% win rate according to that testing. Now, should folks be worried about more downside in the markets this year?
No, that's the beauty of it. We'll play the market either way it wants to go. We're not holding positions during the week. We're going from Friday to the next week, and we're targeting extra income over the weekend when the
Love that.
markets are closed.
Love that. Can we trade these in an IRA or 401k account?
And that's the beautiful thing about it. It's retirement account friendly. And if you're using a not normal account, any regular brokerage does the trick.
All right. Well, what's this weekend's income trade?
Hey, I'm sharing that information with those that join today's founding members.
I tried to sneak that one past him,
Yeah.
folks, but he's too quick. So how do folks start their own weekend side hustle in the stock market then?
Pretty simple. Click the link in the chat, and then I'll show you step by step until we get to the trade how to do it.
I love that photo of you, Tom. I bet it was right on the green after that shot. All right, folks, one more time. We're about to dive into the chat here, but this is limited time on the best pricing. Only 100 spots that I'm already many have filled up. So go to dtitrader.com/WPC or call the team 904-706-3532. Adam's dropped the link in the chat. You can click it there. You can type it in if you'd like to, take the long way around, but take the easy way and join the Weekend Profits Club, whatever you do here, because it's a really, Tom, you put together something truly incredible here, and I'm
This is a
honored
great
to be a part
program.
of it.
Great program.
I'm going to pull up the chat here and see if we've got some questions
Sure.
for folks. All right. Well, folks said the audio was a little low, but I think we solved that. Tom, what are you looking at as far, setting up these trades is there something that you're looking to see, or is it a consistent process that you're following weekend?
Well, that's a
week
beautiful
out?
thing about it. It's a consistent process. I tell people if you get the trend right, that's over half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
People will say, Tom, how do you know what the trend is? Well, the market's a 24-hour market, and you just can't watch 8 hours of it. You got to watch all the 24 hours, and you got all week long to nail that portion of the market. Then you do the setup that's going to pay you when you put your dollar up. Hopefully you get back $1.30, $1.40 off the dollar you put up, and you do that same process. It's almost like a routine, like brushing your teeth every morning. Hope everybody here brushes their teeth every morning. But the whole
I went
point
to
is,
the dentist this morning.
that's what made me think of that. But the bottom line, folks, you get started here, and you will notice on these trades how cool it is that you're able to do this in the way we do it. Nothing complicated, very simple, and it happens like clockwork every week.
Yeah, that's really incredible. And
Yeah.
speaking of clockwork, you said, the window is Thursday at noon to Friday at close, but folks at home really don't have to worry about that.
No,
right? They
I'm
just have
watching
to-
it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're doing
Because
all the work.
until everything lines up, I don't issue the trade. But I keep you informed. Like, we'll send out a message. Hey, no trade today. We'll come back tomorrow.
I love that.
Yeah,
I think that's so
we
cool.
try to keep people in the game.
And something I didn't know about at all, Tom, and got a couple of questions about it. This tax benefit that you're talking about. Can you tell us a little more about
Yeah,
that? 'Cause
sure.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah. Representative Roskinkowski in the 86 Tax Act put this in there.
Look at that.
He
I would
said,
never know.
he said the following: you can take 60% long-term gains, 40% short-term on certain qualifying trades. We're using qualifying trades here, so immediately we feel that requirement. A lot of people don't even know it today. You didn't know it, right?
I had no idea. No.
Yeah. So knowing that little insight with the right index gives you the ability to take advantage of that. So you get to keep more of your money.
I love that. That's really, really powerful. And like you said, I wouldn't have had any clue. For folks who are just getting started, maybe they're not familiar with options, you're going to walk them through exactly what they need to do.
Oh, absolutely. And for those that like to work on their own time, I've got a whole course I give you. We didn't cover that in the slides on what I call options made simple.
Mhm.
What I did, Stephen, there were so many questions about options, and you got textbooks on options, you got different biases, how to teach options, where they go off on mathematical and lose half the audience. Mine's pretty simple, okay? If you get the direction right, you make money. If you get the direction wrong, you lose money. So the idea is to figure that out, and I'll show you the steps that you can put the odds in your favor. You saw the accuracy rate, 84%. You can go to bank with an 84% accuracy rate.
Absolutely.
And plus, it's not, what I love about that? It's not as bad on your psychology when you know that those are the odds of you making a decision to put your money at risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, for folks at home that are worried about like the level of access, cash account, is this possible in a cash account? What do they need to know in terms of setting up their account to make it possible?
Well, it's very simple. You just open an account with a broker, and there's several of them I like. I'll share those with you. I like the Thinkorswim account from Schwab. I like the account from Tasty Trade. I like the account from a company called Tradier. There's a lot of different brokers out there that don't charge you an arm and a leg to do a simple transaction.
I like that. So David,
Yeah, I
that's a
paid.
good answer
Speaking of
to
that,
your question.
and I'm going on a side note here, but I was doing these trades for my IRA was with at the bank, and I said, "What did it cost me? How did I lose $1,300 on a stop that only lost $1 on?" Oh, she said the transaction cost. I said, "Are you serious? I'm paying $300 to get in, $300 to get out."
Mm-hmm.
Not long, I'm at Tasty Trade after
Yeah.
that discussion.
Yeah, I mean they'll gouge you
that's-
if you're not paying
I got
attention.
gouged.
So, and that's a legend that's getting gouged.
Yeah,
So
I
you gotta
wasn't
be
paying
careful.
attention. You got to
Yeah.
pay attention to these things, the cost of the
Exactly.
transaction.
Dean asked, when are you closing if the trade goes on to a Monday? Is it at target? Is it the end of the day, the opening? What's this philosophy
Yeah,
there?
what I do is from the initial entry, I put a good to cancel order in, Dean, and let it play out. That's the way I do it.
And that means that if it hits the target,
We're out.
closes itself, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
So that's another advantage. You don't
Right.
have to sit by your computer and hope.
Right.
I was watching a trade.
And I got a rule with options. I tell everybody my rule, and if they write it down, any option I do, I'm not going to stay in that option, unless there's an exceptional reason beyond 72 hours.
Mhm.
So 72 hours would be the longest
That's
I'd stay.
perfect for this.
Yeah.
Those good till canceled orders, I couldn't.
Yeah,
I
good to
couldn't
cancel.
live without.
Yeah,
because I
the
can't
good to
sit there.
cancel orders are going to take you out no matter what you're doing. Because a lot of people, I found this out with customers, a lot of people don't put an exit order in,
Mhm.
and it goes to the target. And then by the time they think, oh, I got this trade to go look at, they come back, it's already hit its target, and now it's a loser, and they end up selling it at the worst time.
I was about to say I had a trade literally this morning close on OKLO.
Yeah.
Exactly that happened. If I hadn't had that GTC order, there's no chance I would have seen it.
You know what
Closed
keeps
it,
people from putting an order in? Greed. And you
Yeah.
got it, and you got to balance greed with fear. And here we're just playing a process. It's numbers.
Right. And you've
Let
seen,
the numbers work for you. I'll show you how to let the numbers work for you.
and the numbers are incredible. 84%
84%.
win rate.
You saw it.
1,592. And again, we didn't even really hit this that hard, but that's winners and losers included.
Right.
So even if you take a loss, which of course we talked about, that's going to happen, you're still averaging 1,592 per week.
Yeah, if you stake
Winners
it
and
at
losers.
5,000 like
So-
that, you are.
you
Or
know,
more.
2,500, you're averaging
Or more if you put more on.
750 a week or so. That's
Yeah.
really incredible, Tom, what you've got here.
I think somebody learning how to trade or whatever can scale it up to their comfort level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beautiful thing about this.
Well, and that's the thing, Tom. I want to brag on you a bit because I've had the fortune of seeing a lot of your education, whether it's live or over the web. It really doesn't matter. You make an incredible experience for everybody. And your team, you've cultivated the best educators. It's not just you. It's Jeff Smith. It's Jonathan Rowe. It's Chuck Crow, and it's all the supporting staff that make that possible. I really believe the price of the education alone, excuse me, is worth a lot more than you're charging here when they're getting 52 trade alerts.
Yeah,
with it, so.
and I'm motivated by that, and that's why my customers do better than most because they're educated.
Yeah.
After I get them educated, they're not just taking a trade blindly and put it in there. They understand it. They get a feeling for it, and it's sort of like anything else. You get that experience.
Yeah.
And experience the right way.
Right. I mean, I've had the fortune of meeting a ton of your customers. Just last week, I think we had dinner with Bill, who's been a customer of yours for 20 years, 30, long time.
Long time.
He makes the drive
I
from.
talked to him today.
He makes the drive from Shreveport to out here in Jacksonville every time you have a class, and you're not just doing that for fun. You're doing that
Right.
because you're getting a lot of value out of it. And
Sure.
And he's not the only one. Carol, there's a ton of folks that follow what you do and get an incredible amount of value and education out of it. And Weekend Side Hustle, Weekend Profits Club is now, just the next opportunity.
We've
to do
been
that.
waiting,
So-
folks. We've been waiting. I've been pushing them to get this released, and we finally got it released because I did a tweak to the old strategy, and it's just made a difference in night and day.
Don here said something I think you'll love, Tom. He said, hit a bunch of singles instead of swinging for the fences every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a better way.
Sure, with the options, people, the pull for options is, hey, you put up a little bit of money, make a lot. That's not the way it works. Put up a little bit of money and lose a lot because you're going for that home run. The way to make money with options is you have a consistent profit zone that you take your profits on and move on. Reinvest that money in another good play. People make a big mistake. I did when I was learning options. Oh, I just wanted to hit that home run, right? And you kept striking out using a baseball analogy. But the idea is get on first base, like Don said, then get on first base again. Pretty soon you got the bases loaded and you start cranking it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to throw your money away, you can follow my parlays on hockey or baseball. And there's a reason we don't sell that service because nobody would buy it. But if you want to invest your money smartly in a consistent strategy that's showing results week after week, Weekend Profits Club is the place to be. You can go to dtitrader.com/WPC or call 904-706-3532. We've got a team of experts that are standing by. Renaud, Sean, ton of folks that are listening for your call. Caitlin, a whole team, 10, 12 folks that are standing by. And they've all got Tom's, direct contact info, my contact info, so they can get answers to your questions whenever they need it. Tom, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm probably one of the few guys been in this business a long time. I like talking to you because it gives me feedback how to make what I do better for you. And I have created a lot of great friends in this business because I like talking to the customers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you absolutely do. You really spend time with folks, and we love that about you. So, Tom, anything else you want to say to the folks here at home?
There is one thing I want to
Okay.
say. Folks, get started now, and I'll see you on the flip side.
That's his signature sign off. All right. Well, thank you all for being a part of this. One last time, I'll walk through. Go to dtitrader.com/WPC or call 904-706-3532. It's only $1,592 for the first 100 slots. I haven't even gotten an update on how those are filling up, but I'm sure it's fast. So make sure you take advantage. You're getting 52 trade alerts per year, the early payday exit plan, the tax benefits, everything that's included. Tom, this is incredible, and I can't wait for folks to get started. So thanks for having me here. Thanks for doing
Steve,
this.
it was fun doing it with you, and folks, we'll see you on the other side.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.